there was one moment my social skills really got tested. And basically, on a Friday night, I'd met this girl along with like some of my other guy friends, and she was going to a party the next day, and I copped an invite. So we go there. Now, so for some backstory, like this girl basically knows nothing about me. I kind of just wanted to go to a party. But now that none of the boys were coming with me, the fuck am I gonna talk about? Normally I'm talking about like gym, boxing, and the worst part is we're going to an all girls, like the girl went to an all girls school, so there's hardly any guys. And I pull up and it's at the front, it's chill because there's just like a bunch of dudes. But what I realized as soon as I went to the party, this was just the older, like this was just the sister's older brother's friends. So I was fucking cooked at this point. I'm like, fuck, there's not a single dude. And I'm trying to talk to these girls. And the girl that went with me, she's not even back, like, she's not even, hanging out with me for the first few minutes while I flirt. She's going and saying hi to all of her friends. So I had to get a lot more comfortable just standing by myself in a room or like not really talking to anybody. And I didn't do that, okay? What I did is I went to the bathroom and I was a bit tweaked out because I was, you know how I always say like, oh, I'm that social skills guy. So I put a lot of pressure on myself to be able to like cook up in these situations and make a good night out of it. And it never happens instantly. That's the thing. But anyways, I get back from the bathroom. I end up finding my friend for a little. We're chatting and I'm telling her like, wow, I didn't expect it, like blah, blah, blah. But then I just start walking around. Like if you're ever a little bit nervous, just kind of like change your environment. The thing that I liked about this party was there was an outdoor section, there was a kitchen, and there was like a main section, and then the sofas as well. So I just kind of like walked around and did a lap, and then on the way of doing my lap, I said, oh hey, what's up? What's your name? I just started saying hi, like introducing myself. That's all I did, and I just kept doing that for a little bit until there was this one girl who was sitting on the couch who I just thought was really pretty. I went up to her, I was like, oh, what's your name? And I'm chatting to her for a bit. Now, I didn't necessarily go up to every girl there, but I went up to like pretty much most of the people in the party and started chatting. And eventually there was a few people who were really fun to talk to. And after I spoke to them, I had way more energy. I was way more social. I was warming up. And then I could go and talk to these people and have a good conversation as well. And I just kept like bouncing off this energy until the point I was with the party host and we were joking because somebody said like, oh, how do you even know her? And I was like, oh, I put my arm around her. I was like, oh, we've been friends since like kindergarten. She's like, yeah, I've known this guy my whole life. And that was the moment I realized like, fuck, you're nuts, bro. Because I swear, no other guy could do something like this at my age. Every other guy would fold, bro. Yeah, maybe a few guys could like, have a good time. I knew one person there and I hardly knew her. And I met all these new people on the night. That's one of the skills that I think is really, really valuable to have. If you find people are getting sick of you, people don't like your company, as soon as you become super social and you can make friends wherever, you're not going to have that problem much anymore. Because when people get sick of you, it's usually because you're just too worried about them. You don't have other options. You don't have other friends. But if you just have other friends, or you can meet other friends easily, or you're just very friendly and it will come eventually, it might not come immediately, then you're never gonna have like this feeling of where people are never gonna view you as desperate, and people are never gonna just like randomly pull away from you. I'm Finn, and I help young guys make really good friends. And by the way, I do have a step-by-step guide on how I would achieve this again if time was reran. So if you're interested, click the link in the description. But I want to tell you this story. Basically I was with my friend and we're at a nightclub, right? And he's dancing with a girl and I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm just kind of like standing there. Now, he's my best mate. Like, he's happy for me to stand there. He just said, yo, don't worry, bro. Like, because we couldn't find any girls that I would be interested in. So he was just like, don't worry. Like, just stand here, bro. Don't even worry about it. Just dance with us. Like, in his mind, I could tell, like, he doesn't care if I'm sticking around because he's my guy. We might say that about other people because they're not our guys. But, like, between us, we don't care if we're around. Like, that's good fun. But I still, like, I was like, nah. Like, I'm gonna leave you to it, bro. You're on your own, like, little two-man. You're having your good fun. So I went for a walk. And at first, I got some water and I sat down. And then this, like, big, like, long hair, fucking loopy-doopy dude. Like, genuinely, when I say loopy, he was, like, man, Jesus has you in your. He was like one of those like extreme religious dudes. Like, yeah, I fuck with religion. Religion's tough, bro. But like this guy was just lecturing me at 3 a.m. while I'm hammered about like, oh yeah, Jesus believes in you, man. You're such a good soul, man. And you're so nice, man. And he was just lecturing. But like we are having a good chat at first, but he just segued into that. And as a guy was walking past, I was like, yo, what's up? What do you think about what this guy's saying? So I let him ramble a bit. And then I just cut him off and I was just like, yo, bro, let's just go speak to some other people, to the new guy. Because I liked him. You know, he looked good. He looked like he kept care of himself. And we walked up to the road and we ended up meeting, like, there was these 2 girls standing there. So, you know what you do when you're a bit nervous? You just go up to someone, you're like, hey, what's up? Like, I don't recommend that, but I'm just saying, okay, maybe that's not good advice. But like it's more of a, when you're feeling confident, just go up with like good energy. Like, hey, how we going? Like you're in a good mood. You're not like harassing them or anything. You're like self-aware. Like, oh, I may be a bit I may be a tiny bit drunk. I'm drinking with my friends. I don't want to like bother you guys. I said something along those lines. And they were like, no, don't worry. No, like, it's fine. And you can just use your social intuition, you know. Now that you've gone and you've spoken to some people, you can just stand around, have a bit of a chat. And basically, when I met up with my friend again, it was super hype. We were having like a great laugh, telling stories about like all the dumb side quests we'd just done in the last hour. And that is 1,000 times better than just sticking around with your friend and like not having a good time yourself. Now, the only nuance that I would say is like, let's relate this more to daily life, because this is a story of like nightlife, so it's a bit of an exception. I could go around by myself super comfortably because, and I have before, but like, especially because I live in a safe place. You know, I probably wouldn't do this in like somewhere that's dangerous. I would always be with one of my boys. But let's relate this to daily life because that's where it's actually applicable. Every day, I remember this happened specifically for me in my boarding school because, you know, you would go in and to someone's room every day and you would have a chat. But I noticed that when you kept doing that, eventually sometimes they would get like a bit sick of your presence. Or they wouldn't get sick of you, but people would love to speak to you, but not every single fucking day, like not non-stop. People will get sick of you at that point. People want to chat to you like here and there, you know? Because when you're living with somebody and you're like very close in their personal space, you got to like be appreciative of that. Like, we're spending so much time together. We're already living in the same boarding house. Like, I probably should give this guy some space. And I noticed that when somebody wasn't liking me or somebody was being a bit disrespectful to me, I could just like despawn for 2 to 3 weeks. I could just like not speak to them. It was that simple. Like, just for the next few weeks, just like avoid them, you know? Don't go to their room at all. And then, or even, it usually only was like a week before it would reset back to normal. And then they would be like friendly with you again and like they would be happy to talk to you. Trust me, when you're talking to somebody and it feels like they don't respect you, it's usually because you're just too available to them, bro. It's just basic human psychology. You want to give someone their space because that's when they can actually start seeing like, oh, I actually do like when he's in my life. You shouldn't have to worry about this too much, but you should, if you can recognize this well, you're going to avoid, because most guys who aren't social, who are trying to be social, just like miss this fucking advice. Like, they completely miss this part of the social skills advice. Just don't push it on anybody. Like, you don't want to force anyone to be your friends. You want them to want to be friends with you. And you're only going to do that if you're like mad chill, you're not pushy, you know, you're not self-inviting yourself too much. But I have a story on that, right? This one time, so basically it's a Saturday night, and I'm with this group of people. Now, maybe like 50% of them are talking about how we're going on the boat tomorrow. And my friend's like, yeah, I want you to come and shit. Let me just ask like the party host. And he basically said like, bro, we would love you to come, but, you know, the invite's full. And, you know, just entirely coincidentally, they had the max number of people. Entirely coincidentally, I was going on like my friend's speedboat that day. And so I'm with my friend and we do our own little side quest. We go and get food from like, we meet at like 11, we get food, we're finished at like 2 or 3. And then we rotate towards, like, we knew, like they told us where they were going to be chilling. So we just went there. And you see, when we went there, we went to like the nearby area in the speedboat, and I said, oh yeah, let's just go swim over, say hi, and dip. Because why not? It was fun. And like the nuance that you need to know is I was genuinely really good friends with like a lot of these people. We'd hang out a lot. And it was like in a weird way a little bit self-inviting to do that. But I wasn't going on their boat. That's not what I wanted to do. I would just wanted to go by, say hi to my really, really close friend. We would hang out all the time. And I wanted, because he was saying like, oh, I wish you could, they were asking me to come to the boat. I was like, oh, I don't have an invite from the host. And then I got there and like, there's this girl saying like, oh, Finn, like, and they're all like gassing up. Backstory, remember, I have like I had a good number of friends on that boat. So, and by the way, boats is like a common thing in Hong Kong, like where I'm from. Anyways, they come down and like a bunch of them are saying like, yeah, just come up, because I'm chilling at the bottom, just like having a quick chat to some of them. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna leave soon. They're like, no, just come up. So we go up, but the problem is the party host wasn't like there. And when she came up, I saw like for a second, she was like a little bit irritated that, you know, like I'm not invited. Like why the fuck, or she didn't personally invite me. Why the fuck am I on her boat? I just said like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then I blamed it on the cunt who invited me up. They were like, it was fucking funny because then she was like, oh, okay, like no worries. Like it's fine. You know, it wasn't a big deal because I was still kind of friends with the party host. Like we'd hung out before. She'd come to some of my parties. But she was just like a bit like surprised, like what the fuck? Like, you know, it's a bit unusual, right? But the thing is, bro, when I was up there, everyone was talking about like, oh, it's so good to see you. I'm super close friends with a bunch of them. They all welcomed me up once they were there. When I got up there and the party host was like, what the fuck are you doing? I just said like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like they invited me up. Like I can leave whenever you want. I was just coming to say hi and dip. And she was like, no, it's fine. You know what? Don't even worry about it. And, you know, that may be a bit annoying. You don't want to do that too much. Like, that was a bit of a stretch of that I should have gone or not. But the thing is, bro, when I was getting invited by all my friends, I wasn't going to say no. I was feeling it. Like, it's different the more social you are. And that's one point that I wanted to make. You get so much more leeway when you're popular. Like, you know, I don't want to be like that arrogant guy who comes on and says I'm popular, but I kind of need to be so that you believe me, like for my channel. Like I have a shit ton of friends. Like I have good mates that I trust. And then I have a lot of mates who I like may not hang out with as much, but on a night out, I'll go and hang out with them and I'll float around and a lot of people know me. And, you know, a big part of that, maybe 50%, is that I'm from Hong Kong, where you have the potential to get to know everybody. But even my friend was saying like, my friend, we were sitting down, he said, I have no idea how you know so many people. I reckon you're the best connected guy for your age group. And in a sense, like he's true, because I took advantage of Hong Kong being very close together, a lot of people knowing each other. And I got the chance to like build like a decently good rep of like being a nice guy to a lot of people and going to a lot of these social events. Until the point now where it's like I walk down the street, bump into somebody, everybody treats me well. Like so many people know me. People come up and recognize me. They're like, yo, Finn, do you remember me and shit? And it's a really nice feeling once you get there. But you don't get there by being pushy and like invading on people's like time. The story I told you, I just want you to remember this point. That's what you get away with once you've already like built like your great friends. And it's something that I probably shouldn't have even overstepped on that line. It was a bit of a dumb move in some sense. But I guess I just wanted to share that story about like the line that you should like try not to cross. Like I probably crossed the line, and if you did something similar to me, it would blow up in your face in a completely different way. If you're not like very social, like of course you might be learning from me and you might know exactly how to handle that. It could have blown up for me. I just wanted to really emphasize that, bro. But apart from that, bro, just got to give people their space, and you're going to make your own good friends, and eventually you're going to have a sick life, bro. It will come. I promise you. Have a great day, bro. If you're interested on the guide on how to do that, because it might not come, it might take forever if you do it naturally. But if you click the link in the description, just see if you're interested, and I guarantee it will speed up the process for you to become that guy you've envisioned. Thank you for watching.